Hey, welcome to GAiNTS ARE BREAD. My name is Philip, and today I'm very proud and privileged to have key members in my company here with me. This is Gil, Creative Director, Pavin, Senior Learning Designer,
Hi.
and Zul, Producer. Okay. AI is affecting our company in a big way, and a few months ago, maybe half a year ago, we started to look at ChatGPT and thinking, wow, this is going to be crazy. I remember turning to Gil and saying, Gil, why don't you try this out? Can you remember your response, Gil?
No, I can't. What was your response?
I can remember your response. Try this
No,
kind of thing
but-
before, it doesn't work one.
Definitely not my response, but it exists in the imagination.
Yeah, I remember because I was saying that it actually does a lot of the copywriting of that very well.
Yeah, no. Before that, I actually.
Before that
tried
you
it out.
tried, right?
Even before Chat came out, I was trying AI in different softwares already.
Yeah.
We were using AI to do like avatars and even some animation, voice cloning and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that in November last year when ChatGPT hit the news, we already had messed around with it a fair bit, and today I think it's impacting us as a small company in a very, very big way. One of those ways is Pavin sleeps 2-3 hours a night from 2 to 4:30 a.m. Pavin, why do you research AI into the early hours of every day?
Okay, I feel like information is really important, and then I would like to be, knowing all the latest techs and trends and advancements. So what I do usually is when I don't fall asleep, so I try to browse through LinkedIn and go into different things. So when I keep learning about all these things, knowing more information, I feel more enthusiastic, and that drives my sleep away. And then I once I
So while
start.
you're doing it, do you fall asleep?
No, I don't.
She gets more and more awake,
More and
then
more interested. And then ChatGPT can do this. Okay, the other AI tool can do this. So when I come into seeing a list of 100 tools, then I like to go inside each and every tool, to see what it can be of some help as an instructional designer, and sometimes as an instructor, as a teacher. So these are the things when we keep thinking about something, it's very hard to sleep.
Yeah. Actually, it's pretty amazing because everything came together in the last few months, right? I mean, first of all, I went to get myself trained to be a growth mindset consultant directly from ILS, which is, of course, affiliated with Dr. Carol Dweck. And that set the precursor for us as a company to really learn. And we became like not just deliver learning content, but as a whole company, we created a culture of learning. And as we learn, the whole AI wave hit us, and we just went to accelerated learning. We are very excited that we have created a service that we call a customer service avatar. And in time to come, we would love to demonstrate it to everybody. But essentially, it allows us to train ChatGPT. So we're putting up on the website an avatar that if you talk to it, it will give you accurate information on grid synergy, but at the same time, it will have all the features and the relationships and the ability to communicate as ChatGPT 3 does. Okay. Gil, you also looked at AI to do a lot of other things, right? Customer data analytics and all that. Can you tell us more about it?
Well, I mean, I've ever since my movie making days, I've always been fascinated with data. Right, like even movie was out, I will look at the data, which cinemas people are crowding to go, what timing. I'll be obsessed with all those things now. As social media came along, like YouTube, like or what kind of videos people respond to, how many shares, what kind of video, what kind of comments, and all these are data generally, right? So with data, it helps me in our creative process also, right? Meaning we look at how people are responding to a piece of content, and then we design things around it, or we test out different things. So increasingly, what we have been doing is that we right now we try to create products right now to actually look at data in a very immersive way. So this is one of the things that we have. You can see that. We call it the GS2. All right. The king of names here, Mr. Philip came up with the name GL2. So it basically allows us, maybe I just open it up, just take a look. It's actually nothing, it's a very small little piece of equipment, but it's packed with a lot of features inside, right? Plug and play into any screens, or even just without a screen, we just link it to a camera. It can give us a lot of data, like how people, when people is looking at something, a screen, a poster, how is their feeling, right? How long do they look at? How long did they walk
What are
past?
their
And things demographics, age, gender, and things like that. So a lot of data, right? And all this data is going to help creators, going to help marketers, going to help companies, and to understand where their consumers are. And with that data, of course, it helps you again to tweak your campaign, your content, and things like that. So extremely powerful. So we're very excited to launch this actually.
Yeah, and we recently got a very interesting client who does a lot of roadshows, and we'll be deploying this at the roadshows to make sure that all the events and activities that they do there get an appropriate response. But as a learning culture right now, we're not only learning, but we are innovating. So this podcast is actually part and parcel of the way. I mean, to be honest, I think Gil is very much more comfortable behind the camera. He created horror movies like 2359. All that. He was a director. For myself, I did Money Not Enough 2 as an executive director, etc. But we actually more comfortable behind the camera. But now we are putting ourselves in front of the camera because I think we also want to document our journey as transformation in the age of AI and how we are learning. And if it's encouragement to other companies out there, it'd be great as well. Well, one of the persons that really surprised me is Zul. Zul is our camera crew guy, and he's usually very behind the scene, quiet. But the other day he was saying, I'm interested in podcasting as well. Zul, share with us your thoughts on this space.
The AI space or the podcast space?
Podcast space, AI space, learning space. It's our whole company culture right now because we are experimenting. We are just going out. I mean, it's cowboy town. We want to be different. We want to grow. So, what do you think of all this space, AI, all that kind of stuff, and also podcasting?
Okay, so for me, I'm very much into tech. A lot of the I like to keep up with technology.
So just to tease you back, energy must up, huh, Zul? Energy must up.
So so always following like all these tech videos on YouTube, and then following on forums. But those are usually, in the early days at least, they were always like reviews, and then usually everyone started to do podcasts, even all those tech channels, and I found that they were much more up to date in terms of like what they were talking about, right? So it was but of course they were always like kind of off the cuff, and I find it okay. Like sometimes they kind of talk a bit of rubbish because they haven't really fully researched the topic, but I just found it like very interesting to like kind of learn like their off the cuff opinion on it, and so that was like quite interesting to hear. And also sometimes when you're riding, I like to ride bikes, and when you're riding you can't really watch anything, so it's nice to just listen to someone just talking normally while you're like heaving or trying to cycle up a hill. But in terms of AI, again, I've always been interested in tech, but AI has always kind of, not say passed me by, but like if I would say that I've not really had a strong interest in AI, because whenever people talk about AI, it's always noise, right? People are just either just saying, oh, it's bad, it's good, it's bad, but no one really actually wants to have a conversation. Until like a few years ago, I started working in this industry, and I worked with one of the universities to create a courseware for computational intelligence. It's not AI per se, but talked about
machine learning.
yeah, so it talked about a lot about the technologies that ends up like forming AI, so like genetic algorithms, expert systems and all that. And I realized that actually AI has a lot to do with our lives than we
It
thought.
already has, doesn't it?
Yeah, so like even like those Google Pixel phones, right? People have been saying for like the past I don't know 7 years, you know, it uses computational photography, which is basically one of the technologies of AI. And then now even in video games, people are using deep learning super sampling, which was developed by NVIDIA to actually upscale our video games so that I can play something that isn't even 1080p, play it on a 4K TV, and it looks like it's playing actual 4K and it doesn't look blurry at all. And then I started to look into, okay, what are we actually doing with AI? That's not just robot talking back to you. And it's quite interesting, like
Yeah. I think to that end, I think it's quite interesting that we are all in a company, and I think we are a nice cross section of Singaporean society, right? I mean, the Malay dude, Indian, Chinese, literally what I'm missing is a Eurasian, I guess. But we are ordinary Singaporeans, and we are going to look at this space. We're going to grow in this space. And one thing that we did, which another colleague did, was actually created a platform which we can train ChatGPT. And I was telling Pavin, the day will come where, as a learning designer today, you create content for lesson plans, to deliver teaching content. But I see you changing your role to become a trainer of ChatGPT, so you can transfer an entire company's or organization's knowledge, into AI for customer service, right? And last few days we actually doing that. Pavin, can you tell us what you do at night between 12 to 2 a.m. and 4:30 to 6?
Okay, so literally 2 days ago we had a presentation for a client, and we had to come up with something for a presentation to impress the client.
Prototype even.
Yeah,
actually,
for prototype actually. So after 11:30 we started coming out with questions and answers, and kind of funny answers, not exactly a very nice ones. So to be a very conversational tone and a bit lively. So those kind of questions. So within with a bit of ChatGPT's help, within half an hour, 33 questions were already there. Okay, and then when we presented it, it was really fine. It came out so good.
Yeah. The context is that we literally were able to train the language model using our unique algorithms and all that to be able to respond in a way that now that organization is really quite confident to be able to put that to interact with the external customers in time to come, because every question they threw it with, they use our basic 35 questions and then they refine it and presented it in a very interesting way. Yeah. So, well, this is part and parcel of transformation in our company. Right. Going forward, I think, Gil, in your view, how will Grid Synergy, typical of all small companies in Singapore, continue to change? I mean, in terms of management style, in terms of innovation, is this where we are? Are we optimally, operating now? Are we keeping up with the trends, you reckon?
I don't think anybody can say that we are optimal, because there's always room for more efficiency and things like that. So what we are already doing is using AI in many different ways, right? When we're creating content, voice cloning, voice dubbing,
avatars,
voiceovers, creating avatars that look almost human-like to deliver certain lesson plans. We are using chat to do some scripting as well, but of course we have to add in our own little flavor, right? We still need to be, we are not completely replaced by it, but we are using AI to actually be more efficient in our work. I tried actually getting chat to write a more dramatic script, right? Didn't work out too well, but maybe the prompts are not right yet. But I think honestly in a couple of years, right, maybe even months actually, my feeling is that AI is probably able to do some kind of extensive, dramatic, comedic little short films, and then now with the AI also able to do editing, able to do already generating images and things like that, right? I think the time will come when they are also able to produce films. You know how good they are. I think it's all a matter of time. So I think the power is probably in how we utilize AI. It's not going. It's going to be part of our lives anyway. You know, and in creative industry as well. Yeah.
So Zoe, as a producer within Grid Synergy, right? Do you feel that as a small company, you know, we have enough of a learning mindset, a growth mindset, a learning culture?
I think we do.
By the way, this is not rehearsed; it's totally raw, so you can say anything you want.
Yeah, I'm just giving my opinion. I think we do. Of course, with any company, I think we still have some room to grow. But for the past, well, for how long we've been here, I do see, like, you know, people looking at like how we are doing, how our process is, and how are we like getting things done. And there are lots of people in this company that's always looking at like that and trying to figure out like what are we, how can we do better. Of course, it's not all like, you know, we're not Google, right? We're not Google, we're not Microsoft. We don't, yeah, there's some space for us to grow, but sometimes we just don't have the tools or just the budget to grow. But we find ways in which, like, us as employees, us as normal humans, how can we achieve all this growth? And yeah, I think there is that wanting, that willingness to grow, and there's also that just that willingness to figure out how do we achieve that growth.
Well, Pavin, again, another unrehearsed question to catch you off guard. What do you think, how would you tell other company owners out there, you know, other CEOs and all that? I mean, if you want to harness the AI revolution, if you want your organization to grow, what are the 3 top, you know, things you should do in order to make that happen?
Okay, first thing is to know what is happening around. Okay, so we need to know, like, you know, what others are doing and what we are doing. So that's one thing. Second thing I could think of is
Take your time.
to tell other companies, is it?
Yeah, to tell the CEO of a company from a staff and employee perspective, right? I mean, everybody wants their company to grow in this age and harness AI and all that. So what are 3 things? What are 3 things that needs to be done?
Okay. First thing is to know about, like, what is happening around, about the latest techs. Second thing is, you know, reduce the manpower and increase efficiency so we can use AI. The third thing is, as how we usually do in our company, foster learning environment. Okay, now okay, when I joined in 2015, I didn't have any background in the instructional design, so I came here with no knowledge. But then, you know, eventually we had like a training, LD training with Lee Feng, and then after a few years, you know, so periodically we keep, like, you know, upgrading ourselves and upskilling ourselves with the latest things that we have to know. And the latest was growth mindset, and then we had this email marketing. So there is a learning environment that has been fostered on us. So also in our company, right, it's okay, I have seen many companies where the workshops and everything, it just bosses organize and just the employees attend. But here I see that, you know, everybody, including CEO, deputy CEO, everybody is learning. So when we see people above us learning, automatically, you know, you'll
Try
have
to
the
walk the talk.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one thing I could feel. So leader shouldn't be just a leader, but he has to lead along the way with the employees. That's one thing where yeah, people can grow and develop.
Well, I know in the spirit of GAiNTS ARE BREAD, I also checked with our AI co-host. So I just asked ChatGPT, what are 3 things your company need to do to harness AI? So it says, first, identify opportunities for AI. Second, invest in talent and infrastructure. Third, develop an ethical framework. Maybe these are very big companies. For us, we didn't really invest in talent and we just learned ourselves. We did identify opportunities, you guys. We look for what could be done, and we did develop, well, no ethical framework lah. I don't think we are like doing large language models and all that, so not relevant to us. But I also asked ChatGPT, what can CEOs of companies do to harness a growth mindset? I think firstly it says foster a culture of learning. I mean, it's like everybody says that, but actually what you do, so Pavin, what you say is, well, you know, the leadership of the company needs to actually do it themselves lah. Day in, day out, you need to be a learning person. Set ambitious goals, okay? I don't know if we did that. Discussion for another day. Encourage feedback and reflection. Well, I hope this podcast is really feedback and reflection on a scale that whoever listen to us will have a peek into, you know, a microcosm of a small company's culture. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Giants Are Bread, and this is just a small video blog or podcast of a small company in Singapore. How we are trying to learn and how we're trying to harness AI. Perhaps one day when it become bigger, we'll look back and say that was an interesting milestone. Okay, thanks Gil, thanks Zul, thanks Pavin. Look forward to a journey together. Cheers.